This time, I got some of my own. There's a big twist in season 2. I have a co-host, prolific entrepreneur, prolific woman.
Prolific woman?
So first and foremost, I am a very much huge fan of Lisa Vanderpump and the Lisa Vanderpump brand. So I'm so excited to speak to you today on behalf of Collider.
Thank you. Yes, this year's been a lot. We've just been talking about that. I've been ticking a lot of boxes this year. It's just like
you were on fire this year.
I know, this is the year of saying yes. I said that to Pandora. I was saying, okay, this is the year of saying yes. Passion projects, so only passion projects, things that I love, that are really true to me and my beliefs. Yeah, as something like Vanderpump Villa, creating the aesthetics and that whole thing in the south of France. And then Gordon Ramsay in business. What could be better?
Yeah, this is a mashup that we've all been dying to see. So congratulations on working alongside Gordon Ramsay with Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. Now, obviously, this is a very intense experience. You guys are both forces in the industry. So you mentioned that you've been saying yes to passion projects only. So was this iteration of Food Stars a no-brainer for you?
Well, it was difficult timing-wise. I mean, I did have to come backwards and forwards across the Atlantic a couple of times, but I think that really just proved to me how much I wanted to do this. I have utmost respect for Gordon in the hospitality world because I think what he's achieved is second to none. I mean, he's iconic as a restaurateur, as a chef, and his branding is very impressive. He's very smart. We've had a good relationship in the past doing press together for Caesar's Palace with, you know, some of the other guys like Nobu and Guy Fieri. So it's very hard to be successful in this business, in this genre. And he's really kind of brought that home. And doing this in England and both of us being Brits, yeah, it was something I couldn't refuse.
Now, you guys are both looking for different members of a team to compete against each other in this iteration of the show. So what qualities were you looking for food and beverage titans who would ultimately be selected to be on the Lisa Vanderpump team?
It was like you had to cover every aspect of what the potential challenges were. So you had to be strategic in picking your team, thinking, okay, I don't know what challenge is coming up, but we need somebody that's going to be good in the kitchen, or I need somebody who's good at branding, or I need somebody who's good at presenting. So it wasn't about necessarily their business that they were pitching to us, although ultimately that would be the beneficiary of the $250,000 and the spotlight would be shone on it. It was about, you know, creating a team that would basically be cohesive together. And yeah, that was a lot. And it was annoying if I wanted somebody and they weren't on his team. That's why I think you see me in the trailer going, yes, I want you on my team. And he goes, and I go, don't. So the competition started right at the beginning. But, you know, they had strong pitches, but they also had to have drive. They had to have tenacity. They had to have creativity. They had to have discipline. They also had to look at business. You know, sometimes when you make mistakes and you have failure, you have to look at that almost as a guide to tell you which direction you then have to go in. I don't think failure is, I mean, ultimate failure isn't an option, but I mean, failure on the way up, it's like a learning curve, you know?
Now, you mentioned that you and Gordon have certain similarities. You guys are both heavy hitters in the industry. You guys are both Brits. What else would you say that you learned about what makes you guys similar? And how would you say you differ in terms of your managing styles?
Oh, I'm not an idiot sandwich maker, that's for sure. I'm more of a mentor in terms of embracing, supporting, looking to young people to challenge themselves and to, you know, really think outside the box. I think you have to do that. Our mentoring styles are definitely very different, but we do have a lot in common in the fact that, you know, we both, I mean, our sense of humor is just like, it's not for the faint-hearted, you know, I mean, that's for sure. I think that British sense of humor is way more aggressive than in America. We're not nearly as sensitive. I mean, for sure. We give each other a really hard time. I don't know how much of it they've shown, how much of it was appropriate, because we were off on our own tangent for 2 months, you know, talking shit at each other, driving each other, competing against each other, doing what we could to win. We're both very dedicated. We're both very disciplined, and I respect that enormously. And we're both very kind of focused, for sure. I didn't realize I was as competitive as I was. And I don't know if that was just about beating him or whether that's, because I've never looked at other women as being competitive. I've never looked at, like, when I was on Housewives, and I've got to be better than them. I think everybody should just concentrate on being the best they can be. Like, I've never been one, I think you've seen over the years on Housewives, try and put somebody down and attack them and to make myself look better. I think, no, I'm going to be the best Lisa Vanderpump I can be. And I think Gordon's like that as well. But did we bring a different energy to it for both of us? Oh, yes. And am I like intimidated by Gordon Ramsay? Not in the slightest, where a lot of people might be. So probably it was a lot for the competitors to come up, contestants to come up to pitch to both of us in Alexandra Palace. That was probably a lot. I'm surprised. We see them fall over, break down in tears, like lose their mind. It was challenging for sure.
You also spoke about a lot of the challenges that you guys face in the industry, but I would still assume that it's very male dominated. So what would you say that it takes for a woman to succeed in this business?
Well, that's a good point. I know a lot of women, say, yes, it's still not equally balanced in the workplace. And I do agree with that on many aspects. We've talked about wage structure and things like that in the past. But to me, I've always looked at being a woman as an advantage. I'm not saying that I'm made of less stuff than any man. I'm not. And I certainly work in a world in the restaurant business where, especially chef business, dealing with people, it's a lot of male-driven energy there, and corporations, huge corporations that I've worked with over the years. Yes, it's male-driven, but I look upon that as being a woman as a bonus and using it to my advantage.
No, I love that. Now, outside of all of the things that you're doing, you mentioned that you've been doing in the beginning, passion projects with Vanderpump Villa and all of the other spinoffs. Now, up to this point, aside from Candy Burris, you're really the only Bravo celebrity to have multiple spinoff shows, and the Vanderpump brand really stands alone. What would you attribute the show's success to and its subsequent spinoffs?
I think my brand is based on authenticity. When you think of Lisa Vanderpump, I talk myself in the third person, you think of, oh, okay, it's dogs, because I've opened a huge dog rescue and I've always had a little dog since the day you met me. So it's dogs, it's charity, it's restaurants, it's flowers, roses, a lover of great visuals, rosé. So everything that I do is authentic. And I think that's kind of a word of advice I'd always give to you, that make sure whatever you do is something that you're really motivated by, so it doesn't feel like work. Because I can work, like now I'm a designer. I design all my own restaurants with my partner, Nick Elaine. And I could be up till midnight going, well, hold on a second. I think this needs a button here, or we need a doorway here, because I'm so excited by what I'm doing. I think if you're not excited by what you're doing, that it's not authentic. So, I would always encourage you to really look forward to your work day. And if you're not doing that, then you need to find something else, because life is so short. What's the success? Why have I been successful? Because everything I do, I put my heart and soul into it, and it's authentic. Like, who wouldn't want to open a chateau in the south of France? Who wouldn't want to go up against Gordon Ramsay, with 14 entrepreneurs, and he's arguably the best chef in the world? Who wouldn't want to design their own restaurants, or be doing huge flower arrangements, or creating an alcohol brand? That's who I am. If you said to me, go design tennis courts or come up with a ball, I'd be like, you're looking at the wrong person. But also, if you notice that a lot of things over the years that I put my name on, even endorsements, it's always been something
to what you like.
With me, yeah. And embrace who you are. None of us are perfect. It's always going to be somebody younger, prettier, taller, thinner, blah, 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 blah. But just use yourself to be the best version of yourself. And I talk to the entrepreneurs about that, because we're all individual. We can all do things better our way than anybody else can. So having that confidence, I mean, look at you. You look totally different to me. Look how wonderful and beautiful and embraced. You've got your own style. You've got your own that. And that's what I was always encouraging young people to do. Find your passion and drive it home, because you are going to do it better than anybody else.
There is a reported or confirmed at this point, I believe, production pause ahead of season 12. Did you feel like a pause was necessary?
Well, I mean, selfishly, I'm opening another restaurant in September. So for me, just to have a minute as well. I mean, we could have always documented some of that, but yeah, I've got a lot of projects going on right now. And I also think we need to stop talking about scandal a little bit and let it take a breath, you know? It's gone on for quite a long time now. And I just think, let's take our lives in a different direction. But that group, it always keeps going. I mean, they never stop.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I've enjoyed every bit of this conversation. I look forward to watching you and Gordon go head to head. So I can't wait to see.
Oh, yeah, Gordon and I. We're a kind of naughty, inappropriate and competitive, but utmost respect, really. And he is, I think you're going to see a different side of him. I think people think of him as a bit of a hard ass in terms of, and he can be, but he's also got a really kind, sensitive side. Whether he wants to show it or not, normally he doesn't. But you're going to see a different side of him with me.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. Thank you again, Lisa.